Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. These days I'm visiting Texas in Dallas, and for a few weeks I went to a local shop to buy a couple of cigars for myself, and while having a conversation with the gentleman there, I asked his name. He said, "My name is Matthews." He was a typical American, 6-footer, huge, and I immediately shared with him that I read the book of Matthews in the Bible, in the Gospel, and he was quite pleasantly surprised. And he asked my name, and I said, "I'm a Muslim." He said, "It's the first time that I have come across a Muslim who reads the Bible." I said, it is the Bible, which is component of Torah, the Psalms of David, and the Gospel. They're all, and the Quran. As a Muslim, we believe all of these scriptures. We have a complete faith in them. It is part of our faith, and they are from the same fountain, God Almighty. And then what I did was I read something out of the book of Matthew, because I told him that one of my favorite passages in the Gospel is from the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus stepped on the mount and he addressed his disciples. So I read out something, and interestingly, in that same shop there was another young person, 27 years old only. He was reading the Bible there actually, and I took the Bible from him, and to both of them, we then had a good conversation. I read something out, some passages for them. So I would like to share them with you and see the brilliant wisdom behind what it is. Interestingly enough, the Quran states that when God gave the Torah to Moses, Torah is all about the law, which the Quran terms as Al-Kitab. Al-Kitab means the Sharia, the law. And the Gospel, that is, even the Psalms for that matter, is the wisdom. Al-Hikmah, as the Quran puts it. Because the law that is described in the Torah, the wisdom behind that is mentioned in the Gospel. So Al-Kitab, Al-Hikmah, both of them together constitutes the Bible. Whereas the Quran claims for itself that it is a combination of both. It is Al-Kitab, Al-Hikmah. Anyway, let me read something out for you from the Sermon on the Mount and just see how brilliant the passages are. The Sermon of the Mount: seeing the crowds, Jesus, he went up to the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. Obviously, there were no loudspeakers then, so you had to perch yourself on a higher ground so that people could listen to you. I'm just reading some of the excerpts to share with you. He said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." Where? In the hereafter. This is the message here. "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Not this earth, the earth to come. The meek can be, they're looked down upon, and the aggressors have the control of the world. But the blessed are the meek, for they shall eventually inherit the earth. And then he says, this is beautiful: lay up treasures in heaven. Lay up your treasures, the wealth that you have in this world, in heaven. How so? Look at the beautiful words Jesus shared with them. "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy them, and wherein thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, you have given them in charity, for where in the way of God." So Jesus says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. This is just fantastic. That is how you relate to God Almighty. And then he goes on to say, especially what I do, and this is bad, which is judging others. See how Jesus puts that. Judge not, he says, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, you will be measured by it. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye? Speck means a small dot. Small dot. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but you do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite. God is telling me, you hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. And see what it says here. Do not give dogs what is holy. Do not give dogs, people who are not interested to listen, disinterested, they do not pay heed to what life has to offer. In a way, this is a metaphor. Do not give dogs what is holy. And do not throw your pearls before pigs. Why? Lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Yeah, very interesting. The golden rule given by Jesus, given by God through Jesus in the gospel. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. It's very simple. Look at this brilliant advice. Not an advice, a reminder. Jesus says, enter by the narrow gate. There are two types of gates, a narrow gate and a wide gate. So he says, enter by the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life. And those who find it are few. This is an apt reminder. The way of God, there will be hardships. There are certain prohibitions. There's certain things you need to do, certain things you cannot do, which means you have to follow and remain within the precincts of God Almighty. So that gate, perhaps, as a metaphor, is narrow, but where you want to just eat, drink, and be merry, and so then that gate is wide enough. And last passage. Build your house on the rock. Build your house on the rock. Rock in the Torah also has been attributed to God Almighty, to the support of God. That if I am leaning against that rock, so I can lean against it, support myself, and kind of face the world and the trials and tribulations of life. So look at these beautiful words. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man, and who built his house on the rock. Okay, and the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. The rock means on the support of God Almighty. We swayed in our life. There were ups and downs, trials and tribulations. Life can be harsh, can be easy, whatever the situation was, because we had built the house on that rock. We had the support of God for ourselves. Interestingly, the word in Arabic in the Quran is used samad. Allahu samad. Allah is like, or God is like that rock. We can have our support against him. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do like them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. So these are certain excerpts from the Bible that I shared with Mr. Matthew back there, and the other young man's name was Paul. So that's it. And in fact, later that day, I went somewhere and I got this free copy of the Bible for myself, and I've shared it with you. Thank you very much. God bless you, and Assalamu alaikum.